Do you want to be right or are you seeking truth? This is an incredibly helpful question to ask for communication, especially in conflict situations. And if you embrace this and practice this, it will completely change how you relate to people. Now, the idea behind this is simple, but it is not easy to implement. It takes practice to implement this. And as you'll see, as I walk you through an example of this, you'll probably see that the ego gets in the way. So even though this is a very reliable way to resolve conflict, to come to the other side of conflict and have much better communication and much better connection with people, especially in close relationships, you will find that part of you doesn't want that. Part of you wants to be right and wants to sit in the pain of the conflict in order to be right, rather than seek truth and feel the peace on the other side. There's part of you that's holding on to that suffering and perpetuating that suffering. And even just noticing that is very interesting. So even if you don't practice this, if you just pay attention to it, it's quite instructive about this is what's going on in my mind. So the basic question is, do you want to be right or are you seeking truth? And what does that look like in practice? So imagine in a relationship, a typical situation where this comes up in a relationship. Imagine that I have a partner. She says something to me. I'm upset. I respond in a way that makes her more upset. And now we're fighting about what's going on. There's many variations of this kind of conflict. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. We can get into who's right. If my priority is being right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a whole lot of lawyering. You're accusing me of responding to whatever you said poorly. You're saying that I misunderstood you, but here are the exact words you said. These are the exact words you said to me. And we can look up the dictionary definition of these words. And based on this, I can say that my interpretation of your words is correct. Therefore, I am right, you're wrong, you're the one who's to blame. I'm the victim here, you should apologize. Something along those lines. Lawyering is the typical symptom of doing this. When you get into the details, yeah, but I said this, but I used that word, but you did this first, and then I did that, and so on, right? We're trying to bring evidence and facts to figure out, well, who's right? And the thing is, maybe I can do it. Maybe I can go, hey, I have an audio recording of exactly what you said. I have a timestamp. Look, this is what you said. This is the dictionary definition. I'm right. And it's like, yeah, congratulations. You're right. Nobody's happy. The conflict isn't resolved. The conflict is just deepening. And of course, she's getting even more upset that I'm trying to win the argument like this. And men tend to do this a lot. It's not that clearly divided between men and women, but I think it's quite typical for men to do the lawyering, to get to the point where, see, I'm right, then she gets more upset, and then we accuse her of, why are you getting more upset? I just showed you that I'm right. So being right doesn't lead to anything, doesn't resolve the conflict, doesn't make anyone happy, including the person who wins the argument this way. And also, being right brings me no closer to the truth of the situation. So what does it look like to seek truth in a conflict like this? Seeking truth means that we look at what really happened here. And what really happened here is probably something like, something happened that made her feel upset or hurt or attacked in some way. And she responded possibly from a wounded place. And those words landed on me in a way that hurt me. This is often what happens in a situation where we're having an argument about, well, but you said these exact words and here's what that means. Those words might have been emotionally charged because of something, because of an emotional charge in the other person, because she was already hurt or upset or sad or feeling abandoned or something. So the emotionally charged words come to me, they trigger something in me. Now I feel hurt. I'm now responding from pain. I'm saying words that are landing on her in a way that make her feel hurt. Now we're having this argument and we're trying to resolve it by figuring out who's right. The truth about the misunderstanding that is happening is that she had an intention that she tried to send my way, and the thing that she meant, her intention did not land on me. And it really doesn't matter whose fault it is. Because it might be that she expressed whatever the underlying need was very clumsily, that it came from a hurt place. And that, again, I might be justified in feeling attacked. I might be justified in saying, well, the way you said this made me feel hurt. I'm right about that. It doesn't matter. The truth about the situation is that there's something going on there. She meant one thing, I heard another thing, and then we escalated our misunderstanding with the way we further communicated. That is bringing us closer to the truth. The benefit of doing this is that it can actually resolve the conflict. Now, what we're looking for is, what is the need behind this? In conflict, there's often a fundamental need of one person to feel more seen, more heard, more received and important to the other person, and they're not getting that, and then that expresses maybe as an accusation or something like that. And then it escalates. And of course, it doesn't result in anyone feeling more seen or more heard or anything. So by looking for that, by looking for the underlying need, by looking for the truth of what actually happened internally, we can get to the point of actually understanding each other. And for me, a clear sign of this, what often happens in a situation that starts as conflict, once I find true understanding of what was happening for the other person in that moment, it's heartbreaking. To understand that for whatever reason, you had this pain inside you, you felt abandoned, you felt sad in some way, for whatever reason, for where you come from in life, for your traumas that you have, the only way you were able to express that is in a way that felt like an accusation to me. And then the fact that I responded in a way that added to the pain. When I truly see that, it is heartbreaking. And from that place, I can no longer be aggressive or defensive towards the other person. So that is the idea of being right versus seeking truth. How exactly do you do this in practice? Well, the first thing is to remember this and ask yourself this question. The easiest way to do this, instead of trying to notice it or remember it in the heat of the next argument you have, think about the last argument you had, the most recent conflict you had with someone you're in a relationship with. It could be a professional relationship, a family member, a partner. Think about, when's the last time you're in this situation of defending yourself and trying to figure out who's right, and then walking away from that feeling all bitter and resentful. And think about, well, what was happening there? In what way was I trying to be right? And what would seeking truth would have looked like in this situation? Also, let me give you 2 ways to do this in practice, in the moment, in a conversation. How do you move towards seeking truth? The first one is to directly ask for an underlying need. And this tends to work best once you've reflected to the other person what you heard them say. So they're telling you something, and even if you feel defensive, even if it hurts, you go, okay, here's what I heard you say. Can you tell me, what is the need behind this? What do you want out of this? And it's important to do this, if I ask, what do you want out of this? Not as like an accusation, not a what do you want, but to ask from a place of curiosity and caring. Like, let me help you. I want to be on your side in this. How can I help you? And the second thing to do is to externalize your own experience. So in that moment, you can also say, okay, I just heard you say this, and right now I feel defensive, I feel a bit hurt, and I want to check to see what's going on here. So instead of going on the counterattack, simply saying, wow, that hurts. What you just said hurts me. And again, you can do that without accusation, without saying, how dare you hurt me? Just saying, oof, the way this landed, let's unpack this. If you haven't communicated like this with people before, you might be thinking right now, that doesn't work. This is kind of a theoretical thing. If I say this to my partner and the next time we have a fight, she's just going to eat me alive, right? To which I say, try it out. This stuff works a lot better than we think when we read about it in a book or hear about it in a video like this. So that is a little framework that's helped me a lot in resolving conflict, and it's something that I believe anyone can use to become a better partner in any kind of relationship, as well as a better leader. And by the way, if you like this kind of thing, this is an example of a skill that you can actually practice by yourself. You can practice this in relationship, but you can also practice this by yourself, and you can change the relationship you have to yourself, which is a really, really powerful way to transform your external relationships. The more you practice a wholesome relationship with yourself, the more easily you will find wholesome relationships happening around you. And if that's something you want to explore more deeply, check out the first link in the description, which goes to my introspective writing course, which teaches you exactly how to do that. This is, I think, the first time, or at least the first time in a long time, that I'm talking about relationship and communication skills in my public content. In stealth mode, I have been doing a lot of this kind of work. I've been hosting communication, meetups, and workshops, and I found this to be extremely potent work. I've been exploring this for my own use and for fun. I love hosting workshops and things like that. And this is just me putting something out there to see, are you interested? Do you want more of this? I really don't know yet where I'm going to take this. I just know that's very, very potent for inner transformation and for improving one's life. So it's something I'm going to keep pursuing. I'm going to keep teaching, and maybe in some form online. I don't know yet. This is where we can start a discussion. So jump in the comments to let me know your thoughts, or join my community. I'll also link to that below, where you can also start a discussion with me and learn some of this stuff from me. That is all for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.